Salam kepada semua hadirin, Datuk Visi dan rakan-rakan, sahabat-sahabat dari Terengganu. Saya orang Kelantan, jadi dekat sajalah kalau apa ni. Boleh dengar? Oh, hai. Okay. Sebetulnya saya datang sini nak ambil balik Terengganu sebab dari sejarah Kelantan lah yang yang menakluk Terengganu. Sudut bincang dengan Datuk tadi macam mana kita nak buat ni. Dah lama saya tak datang kat Terengganu dan memang ada banyak pertukaran. Kalau boleh kecek Kelantan lagi best. Tapi saya punya ceramah ni saya buat banyak, luar negeri pun ada. Jadi banyak di dalam bahasa Inggeris. Kalau boleh saudara-saudari bersetuju, saya buat dengan dalam bahasa itu. Dan kalau ada soalan tu, kalau nak terjemah dalam bahasa Kelantan boleh juga. Actually, I humbly am very nervous because I always respected the universities. Where I am or where I was came from the university, not from me. So whatever you have taught me as a university, as a school, I have learned and used it very successfully. Some mistakes we were discussing just now at the table. Until now, I still cannot understand a lady. It's a very difficult subject. I told my wife, I still cannot understand you, despite. So when Datuk Visi was talking about talent, how not manage talent when you don't even understand your wife, or when the wife understand husband, itu senang aja. Dia bagi credit card dia dah understand, tapi kita nak understand ladies ni a bit susah. But I think the topic that I want to share with you pagi ni is a very complex topic. And I was just telling Datuk VC and the team just now that normally in Shell it takes us from London punya specialist 2 days to explain. Now I was given 2 hours, I complained why so long? But it's not a simple subject. So I would like to macam mana ni? Start by asking this question: why are we here today? Actually, why we are here today is not to talk about yesterday. Yesterday you tak boleh tukar dah. That is history. Nothing can change yesterday. Today, right now, every second that pass, we also cannot change. Okay? Kalau kita tak cukup dalam hall ni, tak cukup peserta, also we cannot change. It's already fixed. But we can change tomorrow. So what I'm going to talk to you about is actually about tomorrow. In Shell, we normally do 20, 30 years outlook. And I do suggest, if you can, baca a couple of books or a couple of writers. One of them is Kaku, actually, Dr. Kaku. He takes 100 years ahead. And he interviewed 300 top scientists in the world, and he has come out with one story. But there are others that has also produced many ideas of what the future is. Let me begin by saying there are 3 organizations, 3 types. Those who wonder what has happened. Yesterday, why did it happen? And then those who watch what happened. You tahu tu, tapi tengok aja. And those that creates what happens. May I ask, as I said, I don't want to be just a lecturer. I want to interact with you. You must take whatever is in my mind, dalam saya punya fikiran tu. You must extract it as much as you can, because this is free. I normally charge 10,000 outside of Malaysia, 10,000 per hour. Yes. And I get paid, business class, I get paid. Throughout the world I've lectured. I said, you must ask me as much as you can. So, what is UMT? Of these 3, what are you? If you don't answer, I pick on you. I going to soal you. Kalau you tak jawab, I say, what do you think, Prof? Which of the three? Number 1, number 2, number 3? Number 3. If you are number 3, then we are together. Because you create tomorrow. Tomorrow does not happen just by chance. It can be created. So I would share with you a subject which is quite, it is invented by Shell. It's called scenario planning. What it does is it studies the driving forces that is changing the world. All the forces. So we are studying forces, the winds of change. We're not predicting it. We don't predict. We don't say he's going to be the president or this will happen. No. We just say what is the vectors that are changing things. So we normally look at 20, 30 years ahead. And then what we normally do is we ask the unthinkable. We don't answer what is you fikir sekarang, the unthinkable. For example, what if Harvard sets up a university beside your university tomorrow? These are the questions we ask ourselves. What if the Malaysian government do not give Shell Malaysia the concessions? What will happen to the company? Because we live on oil concessions. So these are tough questions. So scenarios really are tools of foresight. Pandang depan aja. It's not prediction. Please remember, scenario is not prediction. So dari segi element tu kita look at social values, economic and consumption patterns, technologies, political thinking, and financial structures. So if you understand this structure, let's begin by looking and asking this question: has the world changed? If I ask you a question, kalau saya soalkan, adakah kehidupan kita atau dunia ni dah bertukar? And if so, what? My wife has not changed. It's still the same. First question she asked, did you close the gate last night? You tutup pintu pagar tak? Belum berus gigi lagi dah tanya dah. Has it changed or not? Yes or no? If you create, you must know already the driving forces. Has the world changed? Just think of your microwave oven. Siapa tak ada microwave oven? That's a good question. So all of you got microwave oven, right? What can the microwave oven do today? It can virtually think by itself. You program it, it thinks by itself. You can make a porridge, you can make rice, you can keep things warm, macam-macam. So there's intelligence in that machine. Who created that machine? It's a human. So how did the human understand this? I think humankind, because if I say man, Datuk VC and all the lady professors will hammer me. In Singapore, I got kena marah, because I said mankind. So two women stood up and said, "You mean to say there's no women in this assembly?" I said, "Oh, sorry." So humankind, we now understand gravity. Kenapa kita boleh duduk berdiri macam ni is because of gravity. We understand gravity. We understand electromagnetic force, which is your electricity, for example, how it is made. And we understand the two nuclear forces, which is the strong and the weak, which is atoms. Through number 2 and number 3, we have developed quantum theory, which is physics, and we can now decode all the atomic structures. Kita ni a bit of science. We all come from a cell called zygote, one cell. The zygote mutates in multiples of 2. So it goes to 2, then it goes to 4, then it goes to 16, it goes to 16 minus 16, and on and on. And then it clusters and becomes a nose. Then they are grouped together, it becomes your hand. So we are now able to understand how this is formed. The scientists now understands this. Please remember this, because a lot of things can happen when they understand how to change the atom structures. So the new world today, under what Kaku has said, is we are at the first stage of planetary civilization. Because I saw so many of you using your handphone, right? What is the speed of the signal of the handphone? It's the speed of light. If I want to get information, I can get it at the speed of light. If I send data up to the satellite, it's at the speed of light. And in case you do not know, the universe ni, malam-malam kita tengok gelap, bintang semua kan? The universe is expanding at the speed of light every day. So you must understand that new planets are formed and planets are dying and black holes exist and black matter exists. So that quantum theory has given us transistors, lasers, the digital revolution that you are having now, the blinding speed of biotech. Biotech is about the human's body. And this revolution now is exponential. That means it's just going straight up like this. Because the power of computing is doubling every 2 years. Now with nanotechnology, they are now thinking of making the computer yang you ada tu kan, yang this size ni, the size of a thumb. Through nanotechnology. These are already not thinking in the wild. This is already almost being experimented. And I will tell you one or two things which just happened. It will shock you. Now, to be able to do this, you need maths, science, and physics. Unfortunately, this is the new world. Science, maths, and physics. So, saya ni orang sejarah. I did history, so tak faham matematik ni. Bolehlah buat sikit, 1 plus 1 equals 3. You know, 2 to the wife, 1 for me. That one boleh buat. But more than that, calculus, you know, I think it's going to be very tough for me. Now, when you see the driving forces driven by this understanding of quantum physics, countries who saw this strategize. Dia buat strategy. And normally the country that sees this are the advanced countries macam America and Japan. How I faham ni, apabila I was in APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Community, the Americans and the Japanese and the Chinese, China, is about 10 to 20 years ahead of Malaysia's thinking. They were already making rules to prevent us 20 years ahead. For example, I give you a case. Japan put on the table a proposal, we will take back all you punya TV that Malaysia guna, you want to change to another TV set, we will take it all. At that time, it was not LED yet. So it says, kita ambil all the plastic, the screens semua kita ambil, but the cathode ray tube, dia tak ambil. So I had Tan Sri Azman Hashim and Dr. the Southern Steel guy, Bank Negara guy. But unfortunately, they don't understand what is inside the cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube is actually nuclear. It's very radioactive. So Japan knew that if I bring this back to Japan, I will have to store it. And you know, nuclear punya nyawa tu is more than 1 million years it lives. So apabila orang kampung tu bakar TV, the old TV, we are getting radioactive material. We are inhaling radioactive material. That's why the cancer cases in Kelantan is going up. I'm in a hospital. I know this figure. So given that, I told Tan Sri Azman and Dr. I can't remember his name now. I said, no, we disagree. So we disagree. And that was what they do. So America pushed for WTO. So in pushing for WTO, it's called World Trade. And the feedback will be quite strong. So WTO is World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization has collapsed, but they strategize. So the new world that I'm discussing now is the people that are planning it is to try and make it into one world through liberalizing your market, buka you punya market. So kita sign that TPPA is part of that strategy. It is not happening because I love you, no. It is how to get to your market. This is TPPA, this is APEC, this is ASEAN, AFTA, this is the EU punya trade agreement, is how to open your market, to reduce and get free access. So, dalam masa tu, we have now created, the world now is divided into all these blocks. You tengok sana lah. I will show to you. These are the blocks. Why UK, US, and America are joining forces, and Israel? It is military blocks. So they use military blocks to force this opening up of your market. The whole idea is to break all your rules, your trade rules, your domestic trade rules. Misalnya, your government project must be given to Bumiputra. In the TPPA, no. You're not going to get it. Over time, their company equals your company. So you must think, can you compete with these people? Can you compete with those giants? Bolehkah kita bersaing, bertanding dengan mereka? And then, these blocks here have created what we call the birth of the global brain citizen. Get a bit funny. Sebab in this new world of STEM, it is to compete for the mind. The mind is going to be the #1 game play for this century. America takes in 100,000 welcome to all. I'm not sure you are students or academicians or staff. So the competition of brains will be the #1, and many countries sekarang, apabila let's say in Australia, kalau if you study in Australia, when they will give a briefing, so immigration department will come, and if you're doing a PhD ke masters, the department openly says, if you decide to stay, we can accept you. They know it is a strategy to try and get the best minds. Singapore has already got a list of all the top students in our schools up to standard 6, Form 3 and Form 5. You want to know? And they take these guys. And they make them Singapore resident, then if they're good enough, become Singapore citizen. America ambil 100,000 brains a year, and mainly coming from India and the middle, Iran and the Russians and the communist bloc. So dia tak payah mendidikkan the pelajar, dia boleh ambil from the best in the world. This is how America strategized. And in Malaysia pula, in the UN report, 1 out of 10 Malaysians study overseas. And now you are beginning to see this 1 out of 10, almost 50 to 70% do not return. So you are losing brains. The fight is for the brains, for the future. The second thing they created was, to make this one world, is free flow of capital. Don't take Amba, I can pass this to, I'll give the thumb drive to Datuk VC, on the condition that she do not, because there are other presentations, don't make it public. Nanti I kena marah. This free flow of capital was pushed by America. In 1971, America said the US dollar will not be backed by gold anymore. So all the money you have and duit you ada is actually worthless. If you understand it, it is only a legal tender. Sebelum 1971, it is worth in gold. Today, it is worth paper. That is why the volatility, the forex exchange, derivatives trading came about. You can move money in and out at the speed of light. That's why Dr. Kaku say we are in the first stage of planetary civilization. The money that has been moved out from Malaysia illegally is 1 trillion. I'm not sure whether you're aware, and this came from the US report. Now, if you ambil 1 trillion, can you imagine in 1 ringgit ke 10 ringgit ke 100 ringgit? I think you need jumbo jet, 2-3 jumbo jet nak hantar. But today, electronically, you just transfer the money. It can be done. Later, kan? And then the US has made a deal, actually with Saudi, that they will use the US dollar for oil trading. They didn't kill Saddam Hussein for all this nuclear, chemical weapon, no. They didn't kill Saddam Hussein because of the dictatorship, no. They killed them because both wanted to switch to euro in oil trading. They were killed. Venezuela, Chavez was killed. So basically, the US wants the US dollar to become the main money. China is fighting that now. And our central banks are controlled through the central bank is controlled in Basel, in Switzerland. Every 2 years is a secret meeting. Nobody knows what happens. Our bank governor will go there, and then they make the rules. It's not public. Okay? Then there will be severe competition in all the vectors. As I said just now, the free trade agreement, we are going to fight in the market. And then in fighting the market, we create products again. Most of them are physical products. So we're going to fight for energy, food, minerals, and oil. So UMT, where you are doing with marine biology and you're doing your prawn projects and things like that, you are on the right track. Because the fight for food could be the Third World War. In fact, there is a forecast that the Third World War will be the fight for water, because the world is going to be short of water. So somehow, if you can think of a way how to get more water, like Singapore, kan, air kotor pun dia boleh buat jadi minum, then you probably be the country they will target and bomb you and take your water away. The food equation is this: 1/3 of the world actually is starving, and they normally are here. 9 billion of people, 1/3 is inside here, underfed. Underfed is normally kat sini ni, and then well-fed, you know lah, kat sini dengan kat sini, the well-fed. Malaysia, if you come to my kampung, is underfed. Yeah. In my kampung, a lot of them has now only 1 meal a day. So I subsidize. So it's a very serious problem from this point of view. So there will be, in a sort of a prediction, this is a prediction by the team in USM, that maybe up to 2050 there will be a food crisis if we do nothing. But science is very clever. Science ni pandai. India forecast many years ago that they will be short of grains, and all they did was actually reduce the wastage, and they had enough rice. So there are ways to address this. And then dwindling energy resources. As we were discussing this morning, you are beside the sea, and the water is a major source of power. We use 14 trillion watts of power the world uses, of which 33% comes from oil. 25% coal, gas, bio, hydro, nuclear, solar, and renewables. This is one of the fastest growing areas now. It's not in my slide. You dah pernah dengar a company called Tesla? You haven't? Tesla actually, it's not a car manufacturer. It's a very high-tech company using information technology, and they now created a battery, which lithium ion, which can, your car can travel almost 300 kilometers without recharging. But even more important, if you have 3 of their cars in your garage, you can plug the 3 cars into your circuit board and it powers your whole house. You don't pay TNB, tak payah bayar TNB for the whole night. Because in America, their punya system is, in the day when low consumption, the rate is very low. At night, the rate is very high. So Elon Musk is his name, he thought, he said, okay, if that is the case, I create this battery, supply to your house, and then the electrical companies will go bankrupt. So he's already done that. So it is nothing new. So I also know that one company in Malaysia has just been given the go-ahead to use solar and solar. So they're going to create one in Terengganu. So Terengganu will have a first solar plant in Malaysia. Terengganu, Kedah, and I think it is Malacca will supply power. So that gives you further avenues to research, to advance these technologies. Now, if I were Saudi Arabia, I would ask, what if the renewables become 35%? It's a very interesting question. The scenarios are like this because these are the driving forces. Society. It's a paradox, it's a clash. Funny, eh? Dalam negara yang maju, you will find that this is the shape of your population. This one is Australia. So you find the young ones are not many. The old ones are here. So can you imagine the old people? You have homes for the old in Australia, fastest growing business. Yeah? And medical science, through your genetic re-engineering, can make us live for more than 100 years. I won't be able to survive. And Dr. Kaku reckons that by the end of this century, you will be able to live 1,000 years. It will be the most boring century. Because can you imagine, Datuk, you with your husband for 1,000 years? I think it is time for we reverse the principle, kan? Ladies can have more than one. Instead of men having more than one, ladies can have more than one. I told my wife, it would be the most boring part of my life having you as my partner for 1,000 years. So, because of this phenomena, and this is all the developing countries like India, they got too many young, and Middle East too many young. There will be a flow, migration. You can see already, the last couple of years, about 6 million Arabs have moved into Europe. Now, when you have this kind of numbers, you will have intermarriages, you have cultural mixes, so the country cultural heritage will change. Same in Malaysia. Malaysia has got, make a guess, how many over the last, say, 20 years, what is the number of foreigners that has come into Malaysia? This is a vector in a scenario. Our total workforce is 11.5 million. What is the number of foreign workers that has entered this country over 20 years? Almost 50%. And they are from Indonesia, from Philippines, from Bangladesh, from Burma, from Nepal. Now, many of them are not going back. In fact, my maid and my gardener has already got blue IC. So they're going to marry, they're going to reproduce, and they're going to, some of them marry my kampung girl, mati. So we are going to have a different Malaysia. It's just a matter of one generation or two generations will be different. You must understand this, and it will change this. Suppose the foreign workers become, say, 80%. Just like America today, Hispanic is almost 30 or 40%. That is why Spain is the second language in America, not English. English is number one, Spain is number two. And that's why they want to close the Mexican border, because the Mexicans are coming into America. So please understand this vector, because of the one world. The free trade agreement allows free movement of people. Countries will change. Expect that to happen. And then in the society, beliefs, I didn't put religion because there are some who are not, is not religion, but beliefs and superstition. Would there be a clash? On the top part, you will see the three main religions, but the fastest growing belief is atheism with the science fraternity, because science is now coming up with so many new findings that they don't believe there is a super creator. And then if you minus migration, in the US, Buddhism and atheism is the fastest growing in parts of US and Europe. And this number here, 2.2 billion people have been killed because of beliefs. I want to ask you, make a guess. How many gods are there, or beliefs of gods, in India? Very interesting question. I give you RM1. Siapa yang dapat yang correct answer, RM1. How many, berapa Tuhan yang dipercayai di India? One try only. Anybody? Alamak. 5,000. 300,000. 1 in 4 Indians have one God. So it is an area where a potential clash will happen. Yeah? So we see this vector because of this dimension. Now, tomorrow, technology is the ultimate game changer. Now, when technology is taken into context, it makes the world even more uncertain. What I have already shown you becomes already uncertainties. It just accelerates this uncertainty. And your answer is innovation and speed. That is your answer. If you are slow, you will be left behind. I will show to you some of the companies. Let's see the industries that were blind to the changes or the vectors of change. You remember this company? Post-Malaysia, before Syed Mokhtar took over, the first year he took over, lost $500 million. Why? Because they didn't see that the internet was already there. Email, you take how many, open your computer yang lama tu slow sikit lah kan. But today, hardly a minute, it opens up and you can already send a message. Dulu you kena pakai apa ni, letter. So if I write a letter to my girlfriend in England, it takes 3 months for her to receive. And then another 3 months to reply. But then she said, I just changed my boyfriend. You are already out. Today, in about 1 minute, you know whether she's still with you or she's dumped you, you know. So post office didn't see FedEx coming, didn't see the digital things coming, didn't see Google, Yahoo coming. And today, the business model of Post Malaysia is not the same. It is virtually a bank. If you think carefully what you can do in post office. You can pay your TNB bill, your apa ni, ada banking account with Syed Mokhtar punya bank, I think Bank Muamalat ke apa. I can't remember.
Interesting, isn't it? You didn't know this until this chart. I studied this chart in and out. This is a key chart for us. Then, all the mother countries that we love, called Australia and India. You know what's their number? UK is number 26. Australia is number 19. Vietnam is ahead of them. This is Vietnam. I put them under ASEAN, but Vietnam is number 17, number 8, and number 19. Look at TL is Thailand. Look at Malaysia, it's 52. And look at the score, 421, 613. It's very far, it's a horrible score. If you are 560 or what, I am not so worried. But in the age of mathematics and sciences, if your score is this number, you really have a big problem. Yeah. Science and maths, we are number 52 and 53. And in reading, we are number 59. I don't care so much about reading, but if you don't understand the principles of mathematics and science, no matter whether you can read or not, you'll be left behind. So I really worry. And this, you as a university is required to change this person who comes as your supply product to become a scientist or live in an era of science. You cannot do it. Impossible. I was the chairman of University of Malaysia, Pahang, the first chairman. And we set up, all the engineering infrastructure was set up with myself and the first VC. Not dying, but another VC. So we set it up. And then after lepas 6 bulan macam tu, the professors came to see me. Personally said, Tengku, we have a major problem. I said, what's your problem? They said, it's the students. I said, why? So they said, the students that masuk, at that time was not university lagi, it was a college university. He said, the first year students cannot do first year engineering mathematics. And almost 70–80% will fail. But the ministry has said, you must pass them. So what do we do? Yeah, it's a fact. I mean, I have no problem with that. So we all say, look, since you cannot get out of this hole, why don't we do a social piece of work? So all the students had tuition with the professors at night for enhancing their engineering math. That's how we got through this problem. But if that is an indication on the problem, I am quite sure you will have the same problem. So something must be done at the school, not at the university. The university is already big knowledge. It's using all the principle. But kalau kita tak tahu that principle, how are you going to teach? You got to teach the principle pula kan? So you are going to get caught. So I suspect today, kalau you minus, kalau you tolakkan all the students who are doing masters and PhD, if you minus that, we have 20 public universities. There are more students going to private universities at 4 to 6 times the cost of the tuition fees. And yet they go there. Why? You must do this analysis. I'm not going to give the answer to you. You please find this out. I know some of the answers already. But it is a very serious problem because let's ask the unthinkable. What if you only have 1/10 of the students coming to your university? What happens? It's a result of this factor. You need to understand this. It will hit you if you do nothing. But if you do something, that you can survive. So these are things that I'm sharing with you, how we learn in Shella. Now, since Asia has caught up in space, India is leading in healthcare, and China is leading in cancer. This Dr. Shetty, he does twice more cardiac bypass at a fraction of the price in the US. And don't go to Singapore. Singapore is US price. 6 million Americans travel out of America for seeking cheaper medical healthcare. 10,000 Arabs a year go to China for cancer treatment. The rate of success in China is 5-1 versus US for cancer. They even guarantee you. There's a millionaire friend of mine in Penang, Dato Lai. His mother was given 2 months to live. He went to China, and the doctor said, 5 years. He gave him 1 million ringgit. 1 million he gave. And the mother survived more than 5 years. The 6th year she died. And then he gave a Honda, just like yours, to the doctor. Yeah, from 2 months, it became almost 6 years. Because they use traditional treatment and modern treatment. That is China for cancer. And Google and you'll find about Fudan and all. China is leading in stem cell, which is going to be the new era for healthcare. So if you look at this, you look at companies, Asian companies, the world's largest automotive manufacturer is which company? Used to be General Motors. Today, what? Toyota. Volkswagen. Volkswagen is right, but Toyota just overtook them. Toyota is now #1 in the world. Volkswagen got a problem with their cheating of the emission. The sales went down, boom. So now, #1 is Toyota. Okay? You look at Alibaba. Alibaba is the first company that has made the top 10 in market capitalization. It is here now. That's Alibaba. The biggest one is Apple. Used to be oil companies and car companies. You take a look. Banks, General Electric is aeroplanes and jet engines and electronics, and Walmart is retailing. Yeah, so we are first company, not Petronas. Petronas used, when the oil price was high, Petronas used to be about 45, like that. Today, Petronas is probably 100. And most of these companies on this chart that you see from the Wall Street survive on average only 50 tahun. Then they get wiped off. Most of them get wiped off. However, there are some companies that have survived for more than 100 years. So if you're in the business school, study, because there is genetic elements in why these companies survive 100 years. I was telling Prof that day. And I know the genetics. And you have to pay me 10 million to learn this genetics. or don't make the wife live 1,000 years. It is, and you have to understand the genetics of a company. I will share with you. You guys in the university, I'm an outsider. You are driven by an outside marker called ranking. You chase ranking, yeah, non-stop. What value does it give to you? Does Toyota chase ranking of their quality? No, because their internal score is much higher than the global ranking. They couldn't care. I met the chairman himself. He said, Tengku, I don't care a damn about all this ISO and what have you, but I have to stick ISO, pay them money to enter the market. That's why I do. But my system is better than their system. So please understand. So my question is, do you have your internal measures? That is the key. On human resource, on productivity, on research, you must have your internal measures. If you don't have these internal measures, you are chasing an outside measure. And it does not necessarily relate. Because if you're really that good, then the public universities should be better than the private universities. How come the private universities has beaten you? Honestly, it's a not nice thing to say, but the numbers show already that the number of students in the private university is bigger than the public universities. So you lost. And I said to minister, I said to what KPT and KSU, I said, you lost the game. And the more you continue this way, you will lose even further. Okay? Now, because of what I've said on the right side here, these are the industries that got affected, destroyed, or will be destroyed. Films, cameras, handphone, post office, banks, airlines, agents. The airlines, the agents now cannot make money. Many of them are dying because we can book online at half the price. The agent make 8 to 10%. So 8 to 10% on 3,000 ringgit, let's say, is 300 ringgit. So the airline say, you book online, I give you a discount of 300 ringgit. Which one do you want? Yep. And you can check in online. So that is, and here I put education, because you like it or not, it's a matter of when and how you will be killed if you don't remodel. I already see the signs. So you really have to set up a think tank and think through what I've said. Manufacturing, robots. You know that in Japan, if you go to a Japanese restaurant in KL today, there are not many waiters. Huh? All the food is served on a robotized trolley. You know in Japan now, the chef is a machine. Very precise. Already nurses are robots. And one guy has bought 15 robot wives. Don't laugh. It came out on NHK. He bought 15 robot wives. So it cost him US $157,000 to buy these 15 wives. So he says, so when they question, why do you have this 15 wives? He said, oh, every day I see a different one. So at least 15 days I see a different face. Yeah. And they don't talk. I'm still trying to get permission from my wife to buy a robot. She still say no. Food, entertainment, tourism, markets, consumers and behaviors, all will be changed. And let's go into that. Because of this damn thing, which I explained to you, is the wife's dream. You must have prayed so hard God gave this handphone to the wife who, I bet you she knows where I am now. Yeah, GPS lah, apa lah, because it's connected, right? She will know where I am. As long as even you switch off the phone. When I was with the Korean Samsung MD, LG MD, I share with you, in Seoul, he says, when you make a phone call, they intercept your, as the data moves, yeah, in space, it captures that data, and they know your secrets. So they can track you without even having your phone. They can take it in the air, take the data. So this is the future for you. Health, neuro, and AI. Now I want to go into the area of we will not be the same. In the context of the molecules of life, Kaku calls it the God millennium, because scientists have discovered life's building blocks. You know molecules and DNA. I won't go into that. It is already here. These are real genetic re-engineering. Ladies, would you like to have a husband like this? No? Alamak. My wife says, yeah, I don't mind. You can change anything. The bicep to become smaller this side or bigger that side. Semua boleh buat. Because of that molecular thing. Now, interestingly, when I was studying this, and I was in BAM, I read all the rules of Olympic Council. There is one clause there that says, you will not genetically re-engineer any athlete, or else they will be banned for life. What it means, because I spoke to some friends of mine who are into stem cell. I said, can you produce a Lee Chong Wei type? They said, yes, it's possible. By genetically understanding his DNA, and then through stem cells, we can change that structure. And therefore, we can make either his shoulder stronger, dia punya kaki stronger, or whatever Lee Chong Wei has. So I said, oh, damn, I see that. They already anticipated this, so they banned it. So what I'm saying is, you can be different. If you're prepared to be experimented on, you can. This cow here is the study where they said, which part of the meat do people like most? They like kat sini ke, kat sana ke. So they created this DNA. This is salmon, and salmon is now available, GMO salmon. The normal salmon is weighs 2.8 pounds. The GMO salmon is 6.6 pounds. So that means it's almost 2 times bigger. So you get more meat. So that's why I say, when food is short, science can change the structure. But whether it has side effect, we don't know. That's why there's big movement, ethical, whether we should do this or we should not do that. And take a look. Have you seen a zebra this color? Normally in our picture, zebra is black and white, kan? Now you got this zebra. Have you seen this kind of monkey? Have you seen this kind of research rats? It is happening. It is not being dreamed about. They are done. There. So the capability here is now. The question is, how is UMT going to take advantage of it? That's my question to you. I don't expect any answer, but it is a question. Another changer is nanotechnology. Do you all understand what is nanotechnology? Yes or no? No. It comes from a Greek word to mean the smallest. And here is how small 1 nano is. An N is 5 million nanometers long. A red blood cell is 7,500 nanometers long. A DNA is only 2 nanometers long. And we understand it. The scientists today understand this. So, in therapeutic application of nanotechnology in medicine, it will change the rules of the game in healthcare. Japan already has a machine. It is not a tablet, it's a machine, nano machine that you take for 3 types of cancer that searches for the cancer cell and explodes, attach the cells and kill the cells. Can I ask that? What does the doctor do? It is already here. It is not being, it is not being researched. Japan already announced, I think 3 months ago, they are now doing clinical trials on these 3 types. I can't remember the cancer, but it is using machines to search for the cells, explodes with this medicine, kills the cells, cure the patient. And therefore, as I said, you can live up to 1,000 years is possible. Therefore, as I say, the question of beliefs and non-beliefs becomes really a big issue because science is going to go into this God millennium this century. Artificial intelligence is another thing which will change the world. It is a brand of computer science which is building machines that can think, feel, and take decisions just like human. There's a big debate now whether this is planned to eliminate humankind and replace it with machine with a few humans, or it is part of goodness to actually help the world. Big debate. You take a look at this. It exists, so if you are a patient, through your genome restructuring and the disease that you have, this machine can give you tablets, medicine, injections, whatever you want. Imagine if you have cognitive capability. With magnetism, you can say, gate, please open. The gate will open. Because you put superconductors onto the gate, and you put chips in your, just in your glasses or what, and you just blink, the gate will open. That's why Kaku calls it the God Millennium. I mean, I can talk to you 2 days on this, but basically, this is what it's all about. The biggest amount of money for research today in the world is for brains, on the brains. Because before that, the doctors only knew of the brain punya capability through mental patients or accident patients. But today, with new machines and sensors, they are now able to take even professors like you, why you become clever, why are you so clever? So they're studying this. And robotics can displace 3 out of 4 jobs. Driverless car is already there. Levitating transport is already there. In case you do not know, Volkswagen is toying around with a car that has no wheels. Interesting, isn't it? Medicine, hospital in the body. If you get your genetics right and you get your machines, you don't have to see a doctor. I have a blood pressure machine, glucose machine, and I just got a hematology meter, which measures the amount of oxygen that my body takes, my pulse rate. Now, if I go and see a doctor, how much do you pay for checking my pulse? At least 15 ringgit, right? Now, I got 4 machines. I check every day. I know exactly what is my blood pressure. Yeah, and I can experiment with this machine. If I take, I'll be open with you. My blood pressure used to run at 160 over, which is dangerous at my age. I will get a stroke or I'll get a heart attack. Today, it's running about 125, 130. What did I do? First, I took chemicals. It didn't quite work. It went about 140, 145. I then switched to kunyit, halia with honey every morning, and then it is now doing about 125 to 130. So I experiment. I don't go and see a specialist. I do it myself because I have the machines. The machines are intelligent enough to measure me. Then galactic energy, power from space. Do you know that there is already a project there, and this is led by America, I suspect Chinese are also, of putting a huge mirror in space, deflecting the sun's energy to supply the world with free energy. And it's highly possible because today you can space travel. And through nanotechnology, as I said, the PC can be the size of your thumb, and new materials are coming out non-stop. Take a look. This is in Japan. This is in construction. Critical resource planning. As I said, this is scenario planning for you. Top minds, as I say at the VC there, talent is a talent will be the key. And you must be prepared to take from outside or globally. You must. If not, it's your choice. But this is a choice you have to make. Planning for facilities, leading edge contents. How many of your courses are research different from what is existing? And staff must be prepared to move globally. In Shell, if you are chosen to be in the top 10%, you must be prepared to work anywhere in the world. You reject it, that's it, your career is finished. That is the Shell term. In 1970, this is already a rule. If you are there, you must move. If your wife is working and earning as much as you, you can leave your wife, but preference, if you're going to be the MD, your wife must come with you. This is a rule. If not, they will not choose you. This has to happen. So rules of engagement is that UMT must start thinking of global employability, not just Malaysia alone or ASEAN alone. You have to think of global employability. In the next 2070, you may have a disease-free world, an end to aging, perfect human body, control of human evolution, retuning the brain. In fact, they are now quite confident that by using some retuning of the brain genetics, they can increase your intelligence. Already, now, they are already thinking. Virtual computing, biological robot, blah, 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 as I mentioned, okay? Now, teleportation. This, you know, is what? Star Trek, right? You remember Star Trek. This is the machine that people have already created. I think a month ago, Japan and US has confirmed, whether you call it ruh or whether you call it brain activity or whatever, they did an experiment. They took a human being and a monkey. The human being was, I think, in America. The monkey was in Japan. And they mounted the sensors in the human being and the monkey. And then the monkey sends his brain waves to the human, and the human acted according to that wave. And it is already done. It is not thinking, it's already done. So now they have proven that your power of thinking I can transmit. Imagine if I were to say, I plant this in the human being, I plant this, and I say, kill President Obama. And he will kill you. Russia experimented with this mind thing over the last 20 years. They can control your mind and say, one floor, they have got up to one floor. I spoke to some Russian scientists. They said they can make that person read the instruction one floor. They're not able to get it further away. So what the KGB was saying is that if I want to get somebody killed, I need to have a distance maybe here to the couloir door there, and then I just send the mind and say, kill Obama, and the guy will kill him. This is how interesting or how devastating the world is going to be, because you are playing with brains and the mind. It is the most powerful part of our body. Renewable energy, all that I talked to you today, actually energy is going to come from plants. It will light up your house and the world. So plants can produce electricity, you know, through photosynthesis. Dentistry, also the same. Through stem cell, they hope to grow a human tooth. And here are just some pictures of what the dentistry is doing. Just quick pictures for you. That at the bottom there, Kasini, this was the lady, and now she's got this after reconstruction with cell therapy. So what I have painted just now, this is for you to think. How do you keep ahead? If I were to ask you, and suppose I'm now the president of the university, yeah, and all the money comes from me. If I ask you, how are you going to keep ahead of this future that I've painted for you? Interesting question, isn't it? Maybe that's something you need to spend. My thought is adapt very quickly or use technologies. Do it now. Because today you have all these touch screens, PCs, remote monitoring, cloud network, mobile, remote servers, all are there. Only requires you to say yes. And this is the team that will do it. Yeah? Further, you cannot go alone already, because I said knowledge is no more owned by one person. So please look at confederation, alliances, JVs, minority stakes, know-how agreements, supply contract. That's your configuration. Suppose you excel in marine, study the universities. There are almost 30,000 universities in the world. Study where they are similar to you, work with them. Because no point trying to beat these guys, because some of them are so far ahead. You already know. But the areas where we are familiar, we are ahead. So why don't we exploit that? Okay? The info highway, as I said to you. You need content exchange, joint purchase in inventories, for example, joint library, ASEAN cases, combined standards. Suppose, let's say, in 5 years' time, Europe says, we only recognize European degrees, no Malaysian or ASEAN degrees. It's an unthinkable thing, yeah? But I pose it to you. This is what we do in scenario planning. So you have to think that through. More thoughts. Global data, global staff exchanges, joint research, joint training, global marketing, and global brand name. I want to show to you some cost reduction ideas, joint federation purchases, joint libraries, joint MIS big data, joint R&D data. Have you thought about e-libraries? Why are you paying so much to MPH or whatever it is? This book company, millions of dollars we pay. Why don't you have this? E-library. You can access it. You don't have to go to the library. You can access it on your laptop, on your anything. You can access. Yeah? Please produce your graduate on time. Drive patterns. Drive your publications, but not on what is today publication. I'm on the board of London Business School Regional Board until about maybe 2014 or 2015. London Business School is now the world's #1. It even beat Harvard already. But they don't go into ranking. They go into Financial Times. Financial Times will rank, and the Economist rank. You know who's on the board, or who's our advisor? Soros. The man who controls all the copper in the world, Bagri, sits on our board. You've got idiots like me. You've got Sorel. Have you heard of Sorel? He's a Jew. He controlled 3/4 of the world's advertising. Now, these are the guys who advise the management team. So they are leading edge. So the publications that's coming out from London Business School are, say, 5 years ago, are already what I'm talking now. They already publish in books. So if you are in your area, you need to think far ahead and come out for the industry, yeah, where demand is. Now, I showed this photo here to give you an example. This was a signing ceremony between Tsinghua University, which is one of the top 5 in China, with Washington University. In other words, the Chinese and Americans are teaming up. Suppose they come to Malaysia. Suppose. And the Chinese is not very expensive. Americans are expensive. And they come and compete with you. Can you cope? I leave you with that thought. So, select areas on research, no doubt, but please base it on markets. I find that because promotions in the universities in Malaysia is based on your publication, citations in Scopus ke apa, sometimes you are doing your own. It is not converging into one useful product. So choose the products that you want, and then here are only some examples, and then go for it. Every organization has this dimension. Always, whatever you are, university, you have customers, which are your students, you have a base market, which is Malaysia, which you have your market attractiveness, your product can sell to, yeah? So this is the basis of your university. So right now, you are in Malaysia, yeah? Getting Malaysian students. But the world is almost 200 countries, you know. And remember, I told you the blocks? That's where the markets are. Choose the blocks, and then penetrate the block. This is all your product. Your students, dental, this one I give to dental talk in USM, premium, PhD, masters, and conference. All these are your income. And this is your cost. As long as your income is higher than your cost, you make money. In the corporations that I work with, our margin is 50%, gross margin. If you don't make 50%, you as a CEO will be fired. I fired 4 CEOs in Proton alone. 1 in 5 minutes. I sacked him for not achieving the target. That's how corporations work. Our life is pressure from day one. It's a miserable life, I tell you. That's why I wanted to join the government. Kena buang. And this is your unique selling point. I will give you this slide, so don't worry about it. Ask Dr. VC. You need to do a research on the student and parent wish list. This came from Taylor's University. I took from Dato' Prof. Hassan. So you need to know, they already say Wi-Fi, worldwide expert knowledge. Tak nampak. Global learning, real life, creative thinking. Top resources, they want global lecturers. Top lecturers, sorry. Entrepreneurial, especially e-commerce capability. Global mindset, critical thinking, and employability anywhere. This is from Taylor's University. So all they are doing is matching this. And I think 60 or 70% of their students are actually from overseas, not local. I don't want to show you this. So, UMT, you are actually a living organization and learning organization. All organization lives until it goes bankrupt. It's alive. You have a life. I told you there are 4 elements of DNA for companies that survive a long time. I won't tell you. Not 10 million, I won't tell you. But you need to understand those 4 elements. Yeah. So the only way you can stay ahead is to get internally convergence of your know-how, and everybody here now see the same picture. So the question is, how do you do this? I now know, working with GLCs and universities, this is your single biggest problem. The people, orang tak tengok satu gambaran. This is my idea, my picture, my picture. So it is crisscrossing. You must have the same purpose to exist. We say, if we cannot get Petronas into Petronas, Shell Malaysia will die. So our whole concentration was for almost 2 years. I will share you some secret. There are a lot of Petronas employees here. We know even how much credit cards you have. We set up a department called Competitive Analysis and Positioning. All the best minds of Shell Malaysia was in that unit. We analyze all the top decision makers of Petronas. We know what time you play golf, what golf set you have, what beer you drink, which nightclub you go, how much utang you got, where. We have all the data. Who rides horses, and then we match our guys to you. So let's say you like to ride horses. I don't like to ride horses. I find somebody in Shell who likes to ride horses, and then we connect. And within that 2 years, we got contract after contract after contract. And Malaysia is the 4th highest earning country in the world for Shell. 4th. It's so small a country, 4th. Please understand. But we ask ourselves, if we don't get into Petronas, we will die. Because all contracts was given to ESO. So we set up this department as an emergency, and we studied every decision maker of Petronas. And suddenly play golf and became friends. Hey, what about this contract? Huh? Ada chance kah? You masuk. That's how we started to get, and we live and we survive. So UMT, the same. I think this lonjakan, you dah tahu kan? So I leave that. Try to match the mindset of what your, what you call stakeholders who's running the country wants. My last slide before we leave is that, unfortunately, you are asked to compete against countries that are so advanced here through the trade agreements. By signing the trade agreement, you have now said you will compete with anyone. That is what you have done. So if you are here and you want to go there, if you want to go to Japan and fight with Japan, you can, but you have to triple the speed of whatever you do. So with that, I would say thank you, terima kasih, and good luck. I hope it is not boring for you. I know it is very quick. There are much more that I can show you. Tapi untuk pagi ni is more than enough, because the study that we have made is that you can absorb in a lecture only 2 hours maximum in a day. Otherwise, all will go missing. So we've researched that. So I think that 2 hours is up. I open for any questions you have. I don't have ready answers. I actually pose you many questions for you to think. But that is the scenario planning that we do. This is what Shell does, and this is how we have survived 126 years in Malaysia. It's difficult to kill this company. Very difficult. Yeah. Now I open.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Yang Mulia Tan Sri. Nama saya Mazli. Saya ada sikit pertanyaan berkaitan dengan sebab tadi saya dengar ada berkaitan dengan GLC, berkaitan dengan cross border business trade, TPPA and so on and so forth. So sekarang ni saya nak tahu dah juga any updates regards to TPPA, because we have 2 years has been we need to ratify TPPA. Then is it adakah satu persaingan TPPA dengan RCEP, Regional Cooperation Economic Partnership, which this is beyond than FTA. Maybe ada updates daripada Tan Sri. Terima kasih.
Okay. To update you ni means I have to have access to the documents. By the way, it's not 6,000 pages, it's 7,200 odd pages. That's the information I got from the guy who studied it. The question is, soalannya, kenapa sign before you study the document? That's one question. I pose it back to you. Now we are studying, and we haven't come out with the solution. In all trade agreements, it's the operating principle. Yeah? Because tadi I habaq kat you, the strategy of the advanced countries to grow is to open up all the developing and less developed countries that has very old rules to protect their domestic market. Kan? There are 2 ways you protect. Number 1, import duty. Number 2 is what? Hidden duties or hidden barriers to entry. I'll explain to you hidden barriers. Because TPPA is about hidden barriers, not the seen barriers. Okay? The seen barriers are you import, here 30% you kena bayar, or 20% you kena bayar. But, example, under trade rules, you will have a clause called origins of goods, right? You check, it will have this, origins of goods, to qualify for tax-free or tax rates. So misalnya, let's say this glasses of mine. The US will ask, Tengku, very good, this is the glasses, and to bring to America is 0 duty. Then they will say, this plastic, where do you buy? Which companies you buy? Which countries you buy? This metal, where did you buy this? This screw, where did you buy? This laminate, where did you buy? And then if half of this is not an American company, I will be taxed, because the origin of good is not from Malaysia. There's a certain ratio. Okay, that's principle. I think a year ago or a year and a half ago, we couldn't export our prawns to Europe. You remember? Why? It just says we didn't comply on health and safety rules. That is a hidden barrier, because I can change these rules like that. So that hidden barrier is many in TPPA. WTO, let's say pharmaceutical or patent agreement, is only 30 years. After 30 years, you can produce that product. You know that the FTA America makes with some Arab countries is 50 years. And I think TPPA is 100 years. The question is, the second principle, is this a win-win trade deal or is this a win-lose trade deal? That is the question you must ask. I cannot tell you exactly the 7,200 pages because the guy who spoke to me from Ghazana also said, I'm already blur. But the question is, kenapa kita sign sebelum kita understand all the rules? And number two, is it a win-lose or win-win situation? America deals with win-lose. You see, the American culture is always win-lose. Yeah? Whereas other countries is win-win. I make for you, you grow, you buy more from me, so you win. America is, I eliminate you. That's the American mentality. So I do fear that not only just TPPA, but we have signed many other agreements. So that agreement, you have to then converge. And what is more important, and I think it is not in this presentation, I gave another presentation, is that the world is divided into 4 types of economies. The financial economy, which is independent. It's about almost 2 trillion worth of money is traded every day, derivatives and all. Okay. Then there is the multinational, the big corporation companies, community. We can come in and out of your country. I went to India, I told the Prime Minister, I can give you 6,000 jobs if you allow me this license with these conditions. And we had a meeting, the 2 or 3 meetings. He asked for something which I will never do. It's on a principle. I back off. I told Dr. Mahaleel, no India for me. He said, Swami Velu wants you. I said, nope, we're not going. I'm not going to do this. You have to sack me to get me to do this. I said, I won't do it. And you know what is being asked. I will never do it. Then there's another sector, which is the technological sector now, which I explained to you. Then the economic blocks. So the world is now shaped into these 4 elements. Now, these economic blocks, by forming the blocks, they are now strengthening the size through economies of scale to get costs and then to get all the know-how merged into one so that I can compete against another block. So this is what is happening in the context of all those agreements that is being signed. The fairer one, I wouldn't say fair, AFTA, for example, says we want to promote the 600 million people. I was on the Business Council. Fair. They then said, to qualify for zero duty, you have to have 2 factories producing the same goods or parts of the good. So, misalnya you buat kereta, you must have one in Thailand or one in Malaysia, then you qualify. If you have only in Thailand, no. It doesn't qualify because you don't create jobs in another place. So it's like a win-win thing. So it's a much better deal than the TPPA in that sense. However, kalau you analyze, all the companies that is actually leading in all these economies are actually foreign companies. If you look at automobile, pharmaceutical, they are all foreign countries. So what you're doing is actually promoting the foreign companies' market access. You're not promoting your own research and your own products for your own access. So this selling, it's all about selling. Selling about we have now opened the market and you got an ecosystem. In one simple word, I will tell you, as a negotiator for 2 trade blocks, bullshit. Yeah. In my experience, they try to cheat you, they try to kill you. You have to understand and really analyze everything they request. I hope I have given you a bit of enlightenment. I don't have the TPPA agreement. No, I don't. But basically, those are the principles. And I know that the point I wanted to make was that in TPPA, the worst thing now is that the national laws are overridden by the arbitration laws. You have no more rights. I hope Trump kills it. I sincerely hope. Because if I have an disagreement with you, iron is not subjected to Malaysian laws or US laws. It goes to an arbitration of which the lawyers are from America or from Europe. And most of all the arbitration, 90% is won by the big company. And you pay billions, not millions, you pay billions of penalty. That is the key. Do you give your laws to this country or to this bloc? That is the most damaging, to me, the most damaging part of TPPA. In other words, you become a citizen of TPPA, no more a Malaysian citizen. Next question.
Thank you, Tengku, for a very, I think, very good information, very updated information for us, because I think it's very hard nowadays for us to attend seminars, and I think this is a very good opportunity for us to hear a lot of information, updated information, especially in the business world. I just want to ask you, maybe this question is quite selfish, because it's been my concern for quite some time. I find it very hard to get access to study organization, especially the business organization in Malaysia. If you want to write good case study, you have to have good information about how they manage the business. Yeah. But in Malaysia, it's very hard to actually get the access, given that academicians and practitioners can't work together, as I believe that, right? So I just want to know some opinion of yours. How can we, as the academician and the practitioners, can work together? Yeah. Thank you.
A very, very pertinent question, and you have a right to understand or to actually be concerned about this. As you probably know from the background I painted to you, the company of today is more and more under stress, huge stresses. In fact, my accountant, who has 400 companies, told me last year's accounts, almost 90% of his companies under his management lost money. Which means, therefore, the competition is so severe. Now, if you picture this kind of pressure the company has, it has no time for outsiders for them to help, to mentor. But if you bring a very special skill to help them to survive, they will welcome you. I've done it 2 or 3 times with other universities, not UMT. The big challenge is that the picture that you have and the picture we have are 2 different worlds. For example, the speed, as I said, if you reply today, I don't know what's the share policy, but those days when we had typewriters, certain letters must be replied within 2 days, certain letters only 5 days. But every letter must be replied within that week. And they will track it. So if you then go to a company and say, I want to learn, it's very tough. So what you need to do is, I don't know what's your alumni number. 5,000, 10,000? 20,000. Okay. Run through the alumni and see where they are attached to. Okay? What London Business School does is, its alumni network is second to none. I will get messages from the alumni saying, Russia now has a job for derivative trader, and it goes worldwide. Anybody who's interested, this is the criteria. You must know. So if you have a skill set that you can offer, the alumni can open the door. I have my own private companies. I offered it to USM. I was the industry, I don't know, that industry networking. I said, I can offer you some places for students to be attached for at least a month to learn how to sell. No takers. But I said, you must meet the targets, and this is exactly what you will learn. How they set itineraries and plan market penetration, all that you will learn, real life. And they are using, we are using digital communication now. If you buy something from my company that is going around selling, press a button, immediately it goes into our system, goes straight to our what you call principal's office, and they know by the second sales figures. You don't have it. We have. So if you have such things and you want to learn, if you don't have such things and you want to learn, use the alumni. Only the alumni can help you. Because most of these companies today, I can tell you, have no time. We work under tremendous pressures. That's why when I was asked, I will give you a hint. I was asked by a Jewish friend of mine to head the whole of Asia minus Japan for one job only. Buy 6 companies, turn it around, sell it for a huge sum of money, and then we share profit 50-50. My salary is $1 million a month with a private jet based in New York. And I'm still here. I said, no, thank you. That is the pressure that we have. Because there are many companies that is very sick that can be turned around and we can make a lot. Like I said, the McDonald's company, small little company, now 2-point-something billion, 800 million Aussie dollars. Do you imagine how much money you will have? I said, I'm not interested in money because I cannot be traveling every day in your stupid jet. Okay? So please, alumni. London Business School has now a consultancy student team. They are so advanced. I took 3 of them to study how to penetrate Russia. And in 3 months, they gave me a paper that is so statistically and strategically correct. And the recommendation also was there. And we followed their recommendation. We didn't enter. So you must be able to do this for a company. There must be a skill set. Okay? Last one. Alumni is key. Please, 20,000. You got a good base. Try to look for the CEOs first. Because CEO will call the shot. Look at the CEOs.
Ya, Assalamualaikum Tan Sri. Terima kasih pada ceramah yang amat baik. Actually, macam saya setuju juga strategi yang Tan Sri bagi tahu bahawa kita Malaysia memang kita kaya dengan natural resources kita. Saya rasa memang betul lah kita kena combine di antara our natural resources dengan latest teknologi untuk kita sama-sama seiring dengan negara maju yang lain. Yeah. Okay, saya percaya itu mungkin strategi yang boleh kita perhalusi lagi untuk ke depan. Cuma my concern here is about, according to your slide, I just concerned about how we can fit ethics and integrity, and also ethics and integrity and also social engagement. Okay? How to fit into the electronic era and platform. So I'm just quite concerned about our current generation. Yeah, there's quite lost about how to apply good manner and so on. Thank you.
That question, the simple answer is that you in the university cannot change the values of a student who has got, 18 years of grilling and development of his values. Values and ethics starts at home. During my time, my mother don't work, so she can guide me. Today, parents leave their children to their grandmother or to what do you call it? Day school. Now, who teaches them all these principles? Like I said to Prof that day, my father will ask us to leave the dining table if you touch the food before him. And my father will kill me if I take $1 that is not mine. So it comes from home first. Then it goes to the school. Now you have all sorts of things. Beliefs, Ugama, Christian school, Christian. During those days, we don't have such things. We only have moral class. If you see a woman or an old man who has no seat, you give him the seat. Those are all values. So when the child has got this grounding, it is very difficult. When I work in Proton, is the most stressful time for me with corruption. Most stressful. Never in Shell, never in Nestle. But when it comes to Proton, it was horrible. The kind of dealings I have to make. Yeah? So this ethics and all has got two dimensions. One is external, one is internal. Let me talk about external first, yeah? Oh no, maybe let me talk about internal. If internally, what controls you? What is the single most powerful aspect of you that controls your action?
Akhlaq.
In one word.
Akhlaq.
It's called your mind. You have two systems, the blood system and the electrical system. The mind is the electrical system. If your heart says do this and the mind says no, it will not do. It will not happen. So the key is to learn how to neutralize the mind from all these things, because no matter whether you look at religion or not, every day you got good and some say Satan, some say non-Satan, they will come to your head. Thousands of things will come to your head. And if you take sides, you will become plus or minus. So let the mind be neutral. Yeah? And inside us are the things which are damaging you. The biggest one is called ego. Yeah? Ego will make you do all sorts of things. Because I want to be number one, I want to be known, this is ego. Then you have selfishness, hatredness, anger, all those are negativeness, right? And then you have the other side. The plus side is being generous, helpful, kind, on the right side. These two combined goes to the mind. And if you cannot control the mind, you will lose the game. So that's the internal. So suppose your mind is the negative, right? So I want to cheat. That's the external factor. I can then use plagiarism, I can hack your account. All these are external things, right? So you asking me, how do I get this ethics and all? You have to address these two dimensions. I swear to you, I have not taken a cent from Shell, Nestle, or Proton. I could have today become richer than Ananda Krishna. I didn't do it. And they sacked me for not doing it. And I'm prepared to be sacked. I have no problem at all. Today, if I did it, I would be worth 8 billion. And nobody can trace it. I'm not that stupid of how to cheat. So understanding how you cheat, I will catch the thief. I sacked 25 Proton fellows for cheating, 4 MDs. So I cannot answer you, but it's a very difficult equation. Yeah? That at the end of the day, even if you say God, as I said to you, there are 300,000 gods in India, you can pray to it. But if your mind do not control your action, God cannot help you. That God that you believe cannot help. So it comes from the basis of home. Home, school. First home is father, mother, brothers, sisters. Then second is friends. Then when you go to school, it's teachers and your friends. So how you evolve comes from there. I hope I've answered you. To me, the mind is the most important. Why I came here is my mind said, no, I will do it. Okay, so thank you very much. I wish you luck. And I hope you enjoyed it. I like the wife one, 1,000 years, remember.